What is going on, everybody? We are here, Collective Podcast, episode 19. Can you believe this, Christian? How are you feeling right now?
Feeling great. I mean, I knew we were going to get to this point, but I didn't think it was going to be that quick. But yeah, because originally it was like once every other week, but now I feel like we're throwing podcasts out there every week now. So definitely, it's been exciting. Just talking to a whole bunch of people, whole bunch of interesting people, different walks of life, different careers, different just outlooks in life. And today is no different, Jerry.
Today is definitely no different because we are going to be interviewing Marcus Slabine. He is a very notable person in regards to the film industry, working on films earlier in his day with The Dark Knight Rises, also The Amazing Spider-Man, and is definitely taken into ventures of his own. And we're going to talk about a bunch of projects that he's been working on, not only within 2018, but what he has planned to work on for 2019.
Definitely. I was looking through his IMDb. I also saw he had like a special thanks on Clerks. Too.
Yeah.
Clerks 2.
Something else right there.
Yeah, so that's really amazing. So we're going to get to him and right after our sponsors.
Lovely. Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? Because when I was trying to get this podcast off the ground, I had so many questions. How do I record an episode? Where do I find background music? And how do I even get my show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other places people like to listen? Where do I find advertisers? The answer to every one of those questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, distributing, and monetizing your podcast. And best of all, it's 100% free and 100% ridiculously easy to use. Marcus, how you doing?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Very good. It's the unfortunate pleasure that you have to hear my voice now after a month of talking.
Or it could be said the other way around, too.
Oh, good lord.
We have here's how I always think. You got to start with low expectations and reach higher as time goes on. No, but I wanted to thank you very much for coming on Collective Podcast today. It's definitely been an honor to talk with you and to hear more about what you've been doing.
Oh, no, the thanks should be all coming from me. I truly appreciate it. It's an honor to be on the show.
So,
thanks for reaching out.
Of course, and now the most important question I need to ask you is, if you weren't wasting your time with us today, what would you be doing?
Today, probably just promoting the trailer, or actually, probably playing Friday the 13th, maybe.
Oh, that's a great game, Friday the 13th.
Dude, I got that game over a year and a half ago, and I've been addicted to it ever since. That game is just so much fun. Absolutely, I love it.
It is. It's too bad about that lawsuit that was going on with it, that they weren't able to do any more DLCs for it.
I know, and that's kind of what's killing the game, because they were about to do the DLC for the Jason X map, the Grendel and everything, which would have looked completely different and wouldn't have been on a camp. So now the game's kind of stuck with what I would say 5 different maps that are all kind of looking the same. So, but I mean, it's still a blast to play, you know?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just replayability of just killing everybody. The one thing is, I like playing as Jason, and when you do the multiplayer and they randomly pick you, it's like I never get to play Jason, and when I do play, it's like everybody else is like really hard to like find and kill. So I feel like I'm at a disadvantage.
Yeah. People do get scattered out, and unless you kind of like pick a really good Jason to kind of find everybody, it gets to be a pain in the ass to kind of do that.
Which one's your favorite Jason to play as?
Okay, so it depends on how I want to play. If I just want to be brutal with it, I play as Jason 4, because he can destroy doors and he's fast. But if I really want to play strategic and avoid someone trying to kill me, I play as Jason Part 2, because he's got all those traps, and I can just knock out the power boxes and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. The best looking Jason I say is always Part 7.
one. No, definitely.
Yeah.
Especially, even in the movies, he was always the best. He was kind of the peak look of Jason Voorhees, I think.
Oh yeah, even though it wasn't the best movie.
Yeah, no, my personal favorite Jason movie would have to be Part 6. I mean, I love me some Tommy Jarvis running around like a psychopath, screaming,
Oh yeah, that's everybody's.
Jason Voorhees is back!
That's everybody's. That and 4, and of course.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, you can't beat Crispin Glover with a corkscrew.
Oh yeah, of course. and of course him dancing, so that's always good.
Yeah, no, the dancing is probably one of the most iconic things in the whole series. Like, forget Jason Voorhees. Like, people don't watch Friday the 13th for Jason. They watch it for Crispin Glover. Let's all be real here.
Oh yeah, of course.
So I have an interesting follow-up question to that. For all the horror movies that you've watched in your life, and for the favorites that you have, which one would you love to see be a video game in the future?
Ooh, that is a good question, because, I mean, my favorite horror film of all time, and the one that truly got me into horror, was the Evil Dead trilogy.
Oh, wow. I love Evil Dead.
We're going to go so off subject thanks to this guy over here.
Wait, what was that?
We're going to go so off topic thanks to this guy over here. He's a very big Evil Dead fan.
Oh, Jesus. I could talk Evil Dead for hours. Evil Dead is honestly, I used to dislike horror. I used to be afraid of it when I was younger.
Really?
Yeah, and then I finally saw, for some odd reason, the trailer for Army of Darkness played, and I was one of, the 3 people that actually went to see it when it came out in theaters. And I became addicted to it. I would watch it, and I didn't even know Evil Dead 1 and 2 existed, and then I went to a video center one day and found a book, which was basically the prehistoric IMDb that had films, and I looked up Army of Darkness, and it said prequel Evil Dead 2, and I watched the series, and I've been in love with it ever since. And the video games, I own all the video games, but they just don't. I don't know, man. The video games have never really lived up to the Evil Dead-ness, even though it's great having Bruce on there, but there's always been a want for a really good Evil Dead game. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I think it's because they didn't capture the spirit of it. It went off topic, real quick. Because I think one of them was an alternate history one, and then another one was, I guess, a sequel.
Yeah, the original one was, the controls were just beyond broken.
Oh, yeah.
But the story was interesting. They had an interesting story, but it was back in the old Resident Evil clone days.
Oh, yeah.
This just had, every time you would leave a screen, a monster would reappear, but your chainsaw needed fuel, and it was survival horror, and it just didn't work with Evil Dead.
No.
And then they did, I think, Fistful of Boomstick.
Oh, yeah.
That one was fun, but it became tedious because there was no map. And then they did a final one that had Ted Raimi, and that one was a lot of fun. But once again, it felt less Evil Dead and felt more, I'd say, it felt more just like a kind of a fun game as opposed to the Evil Dead. But they have remedied it with the amazing TV series.
Oh, yeah.
Evil Dead.
I still haven't seen season 3 because season 3 hasn't been on Netflix yet, but I definitely want to see season 3 of Evil Dead.
It's worth it. It's sad that it got canceled.
It is.
It really is. It's, in all honesty, it was one of the best shows on TV. It was one of the best, continuity-wise, in terms of good episodes throughout every season. Season 3 did feel like they kind of packed in a little bit too much. But it really it ends on a beautiful note, and it's worth seeing. It does leave you wanting more, but at the same time, it's okay, I have an ending to this, and that's all I'll say, because I don't want to spoil it for you.
Oh yeah, of course.
So, to that point of Netflix, this is something I'm curious about because I'm not the biggest TV watcher per se. But I've noticed this about the continuity of different shows and the amount of shows that are on now. Do you feel like with the amount of variety that we have, do you feel like there's like an oversaturation as far as the shows that are out and available now? And you feel like there's kind of like a replacement thing between all these shows too?
Yes, like there is an I do think there is an oversaturation, which is good in some aspects, because if there wasn't this type of oversaturation, we never would have had a show like Astros' Evil Dead.
That's
you
true.
know, but like I do feel that it is overwhelming. Like, I mean, I've got my wife and I. We have Netflix. We've got Shudder. You know, we had to get Shudder because of Joe Bob Briggs.
Yeah. Last call.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Joe Bob fan, so we had to get it for that. But like, but there's so many shows. Like I just finished season 3 of Daredevil, but like I haven't even begun to crack open The Haunting of Hill House, I think it's called.
Oh, yeah, me too.
And like, yeah, it's like there's so much content, there's so much material that it's very hard to kind of keep up with everything. And now with what they're doing with adding in new streaming services, like Disney Plus is opening up one, Warner Brothers is opening up one, Marvel's opening up one, DC's open. It's like it's too much, man. Like, it's I think it's a great for indie filmmakers because it's giving all these streaming services are actually able to hire younger filmmakers that aren't as well known and be able to get the content out there. But at the same time, it's also going to, I feel it's also going to like strain all the content, because not everyone's going to have enough money to get all these services, so not everyone's going to be able to watch your content. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it also defeats the purpose of, like, when you used to get, like, Netflix and other streaming sites, people would be cutting the cord of their cable, for whether it be for pricing or just convenient. And you feel like now with all these streaming services, you're pretty much paying the same that you normally would with cable.
Very good point.
With all these other streaming services. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I mean, it's tough, especially in this day and age. It's like, everything's more expensive and everything like that. I mean, especially living in New York. But I mean, it's like, $7 a month, people, it's like that adds up. That adds up over a year. And if you have, like right now we have Amazon Prime, we got HBO, we've got Showtime, we got Stars, which we're probably letting go soon because they don't have Astros of Evil Dead. But Shudder, Netflix, like, I'm not going to be adding, and we do have regular cable, so it's like, because I am still a Walking Dead fan and Better Call Saul fan, so I got to keep those.
Good point on that too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot I can say about The Walking Dead. Although this season's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm really happy with how Angela Kane has overtaken the show and the direction she's pushing it in.
No, that's definitely a remarkable trait for sure, and I could definitely see it going in that direction. However, though, there is something I wanted to talk about as far as maybe something else we could see on Netflix, and that could be The Audit. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, I mean, I would love for that. So the basic summary of the Audit is it's a political thriller about white collar crime and corruption in Boston. And the plot basically centers around like a major Boston bank in the city's financial district that's laundering money for the drug cartel. So right now it's in festivals, and it has, and basically it's a short version of a feature script that the star of the film, David Moore, who's a really dear friend of mine, who's also in my film Last Call. I've known David for maybe, it's probably 15, 20 years. So David wrote this script and calls me up one day and says, I want you to read the script, I want you to direct this. And he sent it to me, and it was a little bit longer version than what we shot. And it was the first time I've ever read a script while walking home and getting paranoid as I was walking home. He wrote such a taut, intense thriller that really stands on its own. And the short is basically the conversation where the main character, Sean McDonough, played by David, is trying to tell his friend played by William McNamara, that about what's going on, about how all the conspiracies are true, and how the Zetas cartel is getting involved with the bank and all the laundering of money, and they're killing people left and right. And now he's petrified because he has a ledger. The ledger that has the actual physical notes of the money laundering, and he has it, and it just kind of goes from there. And it has an amazing cast working with William McNamara. Growing up, I'm a big Dario Argento fan, and Billy was in he was in opera. So it's like opera is in my top 3 favorite Argento films. So being able to even work with him about that and talk to him about that was just amazing. And we had Deborah Twist and we had Josh Beresford, and it was a great cast, and we got to shoot it in Boston, which is where I'm from. So that was even better too. But yeah.
Not to have such a play on words, but if you were your own auditor for the film that you just created with that, what would be the one thing you would critique the most about your project?
An auditor. In terms of critiquing, you mean like something I would do differently, or?
Not even so much better or worse, what you would do differently.
I mean, when it came to the audit, we were gonna. I'm trying to think, because it was to be perfectly honest, the audit day 1 was one of my favorite days I've ever shot.
That's remarkable by itself, right there.
What's that?
That's remarkable by itself, right there. Just knowing that you're gonna have that premonition on day 1, it's very rare to find that, especially on a project.
Oh yeah, and the beautiful part of it was that it was the first time I finally got to work with David. We shot in East Bridgewater, a place called Johnny Macaroni's, which was great food, and they're just the sweetest people over there in East Bridgewater. And and then a lot of the extras were friends of David's, but also I got to see high school friends that I hadn't seen in probably 10 to 12 years. They were background extras. My best friends were in it. They're at the bar, screaming at the bar, and then during one of the more suspenseful scenes, they're outside being the 2 drunks that are stumbling over themselves, and it was just such a great, fun experience. I think if I could change something, it probably would be to just have a little bit more time with shooting, because we kind of ended up getting a little bit rushed. Just because of things that were going on and stuff like that.
Oh, sure.
But that's with every film. You always wish you had more time and everything like that. But Audit was one of those films that it came out great. I'm very happy with it. David's very happy with it. He has the feature script now. We definitely want to turn it into a feature and add in more elements and stuff like that to it. And it's playing in festivals now. It premiered. Where did it premiere? It premiered at the California International Film Festival, and then the Mystic Film Festival. So we had some really good screens, some great feedback on that, and yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the work that we all did, and I'm really happy with the results, which is always a good feeling to have.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely something where, we just shot a trailer ourselves pretty recently, which is a thriller called Hillsborough. So we've been developing a trailer for it. So with us, when we filmed that and knowing that we had that really good feeling the day of and after the shoot, it's the best feeling in the world, because you feel like you've put in so much work, but it's very continuous and consistent throughout.
It's a high. That's what it is. It's you get that feeling of adrenaline after you shoot that you just don't want to you just don't want to stop. It's just, you just have that adrenaline going.
You feel like you could just go again tomorrow with the same lifestyle.
Exactly, and that's honestly, people. I think it's the biggest thing that people don't get that aren't in film is that high that you have when you're there. You could go 21 hours without even eating a bite of food, and you're still going. You're still going because you're so.
You don't even need coffee.
Yeah, exactly. I think on one of my student films way back in the day, we were going and going and going and going, and it was I think we did a 20-hour day. and everyone else is like conking out, and someone had to come over to me and like pull on my shoulder and be like, dude, man, I think we should wrap for the night. And I'm like, why? We can still shoot this scene, you know, we still got some more night. And they're like, yeah, everyone's passing out. It's 20 hours. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, maybe we should go to sleep.
And then you probably still couldn't go to sleep and wanted to do it the next day.
I stayed up most of the night, and just kept on envisioning what we were going to do the next day. I think that's the biggest regret is when you're shooting something, you're shooting it, and it's like, I did this film called The Break-In.
Sure.
I had this film in my mind for 10 years because I was going to write it way when I lived in Massachusetts. I just didn't have the means or the budget or the skill set to be able to shoot this thing the way I wanted to. So when I finally shot it, we shot shots that had been in my head for over 10 years, and we have this great one shot that's like, I mean, this is spoiling it, but the killer is dragging a body down steps and picking the body up and bringing it outside, and it's all one. It's like a 5-minute one shot, and going inside and outside and everything. And I remember shooting it. And I remember because we had so much more stuff to shoot, I didn't enjoy shooting it because I was like, we got to get going onto the next take, you know, onto the next setup. So it's like you're in the moment so much that you forget to actually step back and just enjoy the moment, I guess I'd say, you know? And that's kind of something that I do wish I would do more so, is just enjoy the moment when you're like, wow, holy crap, we're really doing something cool here. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
There was actually, so before we get into the last call, there's a question I wanted to ask, kind of like giving away some of like the details of what you're probably going to explain. So what's the most convincing prank phone call you've been a part of in your personal life?
Oh, Jesus. Okay. So growing up, I'll be blunt. I was a little shit. I used to do pranks on people all the time. Even in high school, our teachers, I would do pranks on them all the time. I mean, we would crazy glue they had a phone in the room, so we would crazy glue the phone so they couldn't get it up, you know, so they couldn't like make a call on the phone.
God.
Oh my God.
You know, I would call up, there was this old phone number called 1-800-SIBLING. And it was like some type of like foreign exchange student type of thing. And I would call it up and like try to set myself up or a friend up on some type of, you know, foreign exchange experience. And they would be ready to send whoever off to like whatever part of the world they were going to get sent off to. I don't know what my greatest prank was though. Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. It's also one that I'm like, if some of the people who I did these pranks to hear this interview, they might come knocking on my door.
They'll put you in the foreign exchange program.
Yeah, exactly. Or the last call will actually come to fruition, and all of a sudden I'll get like a creepy call from some guy that, you know, and stuff, and I'll be like, oh, crap. But I mean, yeah, man, I was a massive prankster. I did all types of pranks, and I would get into tons of trouble. But I would get away with it in a way because my mom used to work at the school. So,
Oh, man. Talk about a loophole right there.
Yeah. And instead of, like, expelling me, which I probably should have been expelled many, many times, I know what we did one time. We did this one prank. You know how in the old... how in the old schools, you know how they used to have like the paneling and the ceilings, and if you like sharpen a pencil and you threw it at a certain in a certain angle,
Oh,
you
yeah.
embed it in the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about now, for sure.
It's kind of like Quark. It's kind of like Quark.
Yes, exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
cork. That's the word I was trying to find. So what happened was that I just hope Mr. Wall never hears this. So Mr. Wall was gone for a day and he forgot to lock his room. So I skipped school, I skipped class, and I just spent the whole day in there watching Night of the Demons 1, 2, and 3 and Night at the Roxbury. I was, you know, we'd have a VCR. So I just
What a blend right there.
Did my own movie marathon while I just went online while I was actually buying Evil Dead stuff off of eBay. And then the final class happened, and like no one showed up, and like a couple of guys that I knew came in and were like, "Hey, we gotta teach Walt a lesson to never have him leave his room unlocked." This is our teenage minds thinking, you know. So we start throwing pencils into the ceiling. That's not enough. So we start throwing pens, and we're like, "Hey, we should get creative. It's an art class. Why not?" So we started like taking paintbrushes, sharpening them, sticking those in the ceilings, protractors. We put rulers. We put everything. The ceiling looked like Temple of Doom by the time.
Oh my god!
And the next day we left, and Mr. Wall came in because one of the guys had him in there. And he was like always, he's always such a nice guy. He would always, but like he would never swear. He was always like very like goofy, but like fun. And he came in, and he's like, "Okay, guys, I just want to see." And he looked at us and he goes, "Oh, you motherfuckers!" He's like, "I'm always so nice to you." He's like taking a broom, knocking it all around the ceiling, protractors are flying at him, and the compasses like are coming right by his feet. And like, oh, this is dangerous. He probably could have gotten seriously hurt. So.
Oh, that's brilliant.
You menace. The best prank I ever done was we had a projector, and we hated this teacher. This teacher didn't know anybody's name or was just like aloof, and he would turn the projector on, and when he turned the projector on, there was a like a penis shaped thing on his projector, and it would project on the wall. That's the one thing I did.
Oh my god, that's great. That reminds me of another prank I did. This one got me. I met the teacher again. I told him I finally did it like 15 years later, and and luckily enough time had passed. Well, you know the old monitors, how you could the old computer monitors where the monitor was separate from the base.
Yeah.
So he would have rows of computers. So that would be facing. It'd be two tables and like one row. So we'll say like one row of computers would be facing north, and the other row of computers would be facing south. So one day during lunch, me and my friend Dave came in, and we're like, "Oh, you know what would be really funny is if we swap the monitors with the bases, so that the people looking at the north computers that are going to be connected to the south monitors." If that makes sense. So like if you're on the north side computers and you're using the mouse, they're connected to the south side monitor. So it shows up on the other computer, so that you can't. So basically, it's like reversing the computers, basically. So we did that to every computer, and the lab had to get shut down for 2 weeks because they couldn't figure out how to fix the computers.
God. Oh my god. Wow. They must have had a party when you graduated.
Oh,
I think you probably threw it for them.
Yeah, no, they were very happy when I left.
As just on the subject, just to like kind of share the story. So I did a senior prank too with a bunch of our like our classmates or whatever. So a lot of us like to party for sure. We were like a private like co-ed school. We all like to go out. We all like to have fun. So it was pretty much 2 nights before graduation. The morning of, I'm gonna say 6 a.m, we had people drinking outside the campus. There was like one of our friends completely shit-faced around that time. Then, on top of that, there was people, including myself, who kind of did like a mischief thing with like toilet paper. So we started like doing TPing around the school afterwards. So then this is where the kicker comes in. Aside from the drinking, people getting drunk and all this other stuff, also like doing weed or whatever, there was actually somebody who brought a grill and started barbecuing at 8 a.m.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It was like out of a movie or something. I feel like you should have directed it at this point.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
So and one more point to like kind of go off of it is we had this like jackass in school who wanted to tie himself to the school gate in the back so no cars could have parked in the school parking lot. So you had like a traffic jam throughout like the whole block of like Victory around there.
Oh my god.
So he was tied for about an hour, and our principal was known to be like, you know, an alcoholic or whatever. He was definitely guilty of like drinking and stuff like that. So he was cut. So he's a very laid back guy, but like he would go on his rampages as any alcoholic would. And then when he sees everything, he's like, "Guys, well, I've had enough. Go back into the class." No one got suspended. No one got expelled. He's just like, "Guys, I've just had enough. I'm tired. I want to go to school." So as we've been on a tirade about our personal lives connected to the last call, just explain a little bit as to what actually is the last call about.
So basically, the short version of the story of the last call is it's about this radio DJ named Harry Cunningham, and it's his last day on the job, and he's doing a call-in show. And he's taking call-ins of requests of old shows. Whatever you want played, he'll play it. So he gets a mysterious caller that calls in, demanding that he play a tape from his old prank show that never aired because of unknown reasons. And Harry refuses to play it and tries to get the call disconnected. The call doesn't disconnect. The guy on the caller finally says, "If you either play the tape or everybody dies." He refuses. They disconnect the call. Seconds later, the power goes out, and people start dropping one by one. And with every body that drops, all the killer can say is, "Play the tape. Confess what you did." And that's the basic premise.
That's a very nice kicker right there. That's a cool concept, just like how you tied that in.
Oh, thank you.
For sure. No, it definitely gives like an interesting look to it, for sure.
Well, thanks. I mean, I was kind of inspired. Obviously, I was a prankster when I was younger. And I've always wanted to do pranks, but I also know how pranks can go wrong too, just from, pranks that got botched, so to speak.
Breakout fights, all the whole 9 yards. You see a lot of it on YouTube nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, and like I see a lot of pranks on YouTube that I'm just like, wow, okay, you guys are stupid. Like Tide Pods, really? How is that a prank? Like, it's like, I don't even get me going on these Tide Pod people. But like, back in the day, a long time ago, I was watching this movie called Pontypool, and it starred Stephen McHattie and directed by Bruce McDonald, and it's basically about a radio DJ who is broadcasting. He's kind of like a shock jock type of DJ. But he's broadcasting during what is revealed to be the zombie apocalypse. And the entire thing takes place inside a radio station. And it was a really creative tool, and I really liked it, But I've always wanted to see more of that type of thing. I've always wanted to see more of like, of like a DJ type of situation. And my father, he does a radio. He has his very own radio show. So I was kind of
nice.
wanting to pay him. Yeah. So and I grew up on the oldies. So doing that was also kind of a way to pay homage to him. I mean, and what ended up happening was that I was doing a stage reading of this play called Call Me Dead, and a friend of mine, D. Imbert, who's one of the producers on this, is also stars in it alongside Terry, but came to it and we reconnected, and then we're out one day for my birthday, and it's her, my wife Liz, who's also one of the producers, also plays Kim and does the special effects. Indie filmmaking at its finest.
There you go.
Everyone has multiple jobs. We're sitting having some drinks, and Dee says, "Hey, I'm really good friends with Terry Alexander, if you know who he is." And I look at her, I go, No, he is. I'm like, George A. Romero's Day of the Dead is one of my favorite horror films of all time. I love Romero. I love everything Romero. And I'm like, of course I know who he is. She goes, well, you know, if there's a good script or something, I could message him, and, you know, we could, you know, maybe he'd be interested in it. So I go home, I have the idea for the script, I write it in, create the characters. It's a 30-page script, which got cut down. Sent it to him. Terry loved it. And, you know, and then the ball started rolling, and we started, you know, gathering funding, and then we shot it up in Beacon, New York, in WHUD radio, which was also one of the hardest things to find. You know, I mean, funding has always been hard, but it was like, you don't think that it's hard to find a radio station, but it's very hard to find a radio station to shoot in.
It's really all about the timing too. Like it's not so much like the accessibility; it's the availability.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what made The Last Call the first. So we shot it in two parts, basically. We shot 4 days. And originally, because of the hours and everything, we shot from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. Now, to go back to your question about the audit, what would I have done differently? That's what I would have done differently about Last Call.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, because this is the thing. You know, doing it overnight, we're used to it, we're filmmakers, that's kind of in our blood. The issue is that when you do an 8 p.m. to an 8 a.m., as the sun comes up around 5 or 6, your body hits a wall. So those final 2 hours of your 12-hour day are just, you almost get consistently cut down. And, you know, and we shot, and we got a lot of great stuff, but we had to go back and reshoot a lot of the killer stuff, because we just didn't really have time to perfect all of, like, the creepy killer stuff.
Sure.
Which is very important for a slasher film. Well, it's more of a thriller than a slasher, but anyway. And then when we went back, the DP wasn't available. And then we worked with, I called in my good friend Steve Delasala from Fuzz on the Lens.
Oh yeah, we're very good friends with them.
They're the best. They are the absolute best. I love the Fuzz guys. They came in and they just you know, we shot a day and a half. We shot a scene in a basement of a pizzeria in Astoria that ended up closing down 2 weeks after.
Oh, that's
Oh,
something.
wow.
Yeah, and we don't know if it was our fault, but I don't think it is. But it's kind of a funny story.
Oh man, your high school days are coming back to haunt you.
Pretty much, you know. But like, it was great, you know, just working with those guys. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I've worked with them several times on different things, and it's just the thing I love about them is that they have that independent filmmaker energy. You know, it's like, well, how do we make this arrow going out of the bow look good? Because, you know, we're doing all these takes, and I'm trying to be safe because I also do art department stuff, or I used to do props and stuff like that. So like, I'm always conscious about set safety. You know, we're shooting bow and arrows and stuff, and in a radio station, and it's just not looking good. And like, Steve just goes, "Hey, I have an idea. Why don't we just shoot the arrow? You know, I can put this up, and we'll do it." So we started shooting the arrow.
There's times where, you know, being based on multiple projects with my job, it always takes that one outsider in the moment to look in, and sometimes your problems go away like that on a finger snap. It's so weird.
Totally, you know, and it's the one thing I can say about indie filmmaking is, and this is what I love about indie filmmaking, is that you have to think on your toes.
Oh yeah.
You know, you have to be able to adapt to a situation, no matter what comes at you. You know. And if you're able to think on your toes and you have a team that's strong that way, that can just be like, all right, well, okay, so we just lost power, you know, and we don't have lights for this thing. So how the hell are we going to light this? Oh, well, let's figure out another way to do this. Okay, this is how we can do it. Let's shoot it over here and we'll get this coverage. And you just kind of you gotta just be able to adapt and go with the flow. Anybody that ever says that they had a shoot that goes perfectly they never did.
Oh, shit.
I'm sorry. It is, yeah, total bullshit. This, you know.
Now it's interesting because with the Last Call, I actually found the trailer to that under your channel, Into the Labyrinth. Very interesting name, so I just wanted to hear like a little bit of thoughts behind like that inspiration.
So Into the Labyrinth is actually my wife's company.
Oh, nice.
And and it comes from, she's a huge Labyrinth fan. Her favorite movie is Labyrinth. She loves David Bowie, so when she created it, she really wanted something that unlocks the creativity in our minds.
Sure.
Kind of the way Labyrinth unlocked the creativity in so many people. So that's kind of where, so it's like, when you think about Labyrinth, in going into them, there's so many things that can be in them, There's so many ideas and creatures and beautiful things and scary things that can be in there. And, when you're going into the Labyrinth, it's kind of that, kind of like that. And when she told me that, she came up with the title, I was like, I absolutely love that. It's great,
Did they do the dance magic dance?
That was good.
No, not yet. We haven't gotten the rights for that yet. although if there was a way to get them, I'm sure it would be on there, and I'm sure it would actually be playing in Last Call too.
There you go. Not for any spoilers or anything.
Yeah, no.
So, not to play on words or anything, but why do your horror reviews kick ass?
Oh, wow. When I was younger, and I did the old website, for anyone that doesn't know, I used to run a horror movie review website for 8 years, actually.
Oh, wow.
Which was kind of my starting to getting into the, into the genre and meeting a lot of people. And what happened was that I used to always say kick-ass, and that was always one of my things I would always say. And when I thought of a website, I was trying to think of a name fast, and I was like, horror reviews. I want people to think that these horror reviews kick ass. Wait a minute, kick-ass horror reviews. Fuck it. And I put it on, and what was funny is that back in the day, you used to because they didn't have YouTube and all that stuff. So if you wanted to get people that you would interview to kind of say something about your site, you'd be like, hey man, would you mind just throwing give me a good quote I can throw up there. And every single one of them had to use that as their way of describing it, and it'd be like, oh yeah, your site totally kicks ass, and I'm like, oh, okay. But I used to have so much fun with that website because the cool thing about it back in the day, and it was a good group of people back in the day, there was Arrow in the Head with John Fallon. He used to run that back in the day. There was Horror Domain, Bloody Disgusting, Dread Central. There's very few of the websites that are still around. There was Gates of Gore that Christy Langford used to run. She's actually starting that back up now.
Oh, nice.
But it was a really cool thing because I was able, through that website, I was able to get any movie I wanted to from any, from Lionsgate, from Universal, from Fox, any horror movie. I would just send them a thing and be like, hey Lionsgate, I want to review these 20 movies. Do you have them on DVD? And I'd get a box and it'd be 17 of the movies, and I'm like, yay, free movies.
You'll step up to It's funny, you're going to step up to our friend Ian with his movie collection.
Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
What has he got, 500 now?
Pretty big.
He's got,
How many does he have
500,
now?
yeah.
I think he's about 500 on his collection.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, I definitely got him beat.
Oh, man.
Oh,
the call-outs are too real.
At this point, I've got over 1,000 DVDs.
Shit.
Oh, my God.
Blu-rays. I haven't counted them recently because I have such an influx of Blu-rays. My wife wants to kill me every time I come home with a Blu-ray. Because we just don't have space, and now I just have stacks on stacks of Blu-rays and DVDs that are just not open. I mean, I'm looking at them right now. I've got Suspiria, the 4K version of it, just staring back at me, and I'm like, oh, I want to rewatch that. Mandy, which was a great movie this year. If you haven't seen Mandy, you definitely got to see Mandy. But I just collect Blu-rays, and I absolutely love physical media. It's something that I think the website kind of instilled in me, but it's something that I love having because even with all these streaming services, they're only licensed movies for so long. And once that license is up, they could say, well, you know what? We don't want to have the Night of the Demons collection on Shudder anymore. We want to put it onto newstreamingservice.com or wherever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but for me, I never have to worry about that. I got the whole collection here, so.
I honestly feel like you could start a museum with your collection. Like, in some capacity. I definitely feel like that's plausible.
Yeah, I've got films in this collection that I'm like, that are very hard films to find. Like, even looking at it, it's like, there are films that, like, people are, like, trying to seek out that are just out of print because they released them, I've got, like, this is Sleepaway Camp.
Oh my god. Sleepaway Camp. I love Sleepaway Camp.
But it's the original Sleepaway Camp collection with the, so they released this box set, and it is, like, in the shape of a first aid kit, and it has a bloody cross on it.
Very creative.
Oh yeah, those aren't in print anymore.
Well, they were only in print for like 2 weeks because the American Red Cross saw it and flipped out and had them all removed. So all other copies of this just say survival kit, and they had to recall it. But because I was doing the website at the time, I bought the day it came out because I would get like, like from all the companies, the release dates of all these things. I would just go to Best Buy or Circuit City when Circuit City was around and just buy these movies and just review them. So, and it's like, that's kind of the thing. Like, I love having rare films that nobody has. Like, a good company that's actually putting out a lot of good ones is Vinegar Syndrome. They've been putting out some great, hard-to-find films like Demon Wind, which is like an Evil Dead ripoff on crack.
Is that even possible?
I gotta watch that now.
Yes, you must. Demon Wind, look, they had half the budget of Evil Dead, but they tried their hearts out, and it's just such a fun, crazy, wacky ride. I couldn't even explain the plot if I tried. Like, there's a portal that they go to this random spot in the middle of nowhere with a house that's like not even a house, and then they go in the door and it's like another dimension, and they start turning into demons and start killing each other, and there's just random car fills of characters that just appear out of nowhere. Like, oh, these are the next 5 characters to get killed, and they just come in and join the group, and they're like, hey, 5 characters, what's going on? Oh, you're all dead. Okay, cool.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, man.
Oh, my
I'm
God.
almost speechless with that right now.
You got it. I think it's on YouTube, but if you can, get the... And this is what I love about
I
Vinegar
feel like it's kind of like Animal House meets Inception.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just with like a bunch of murders like combined with it. So, if you were to make like any New Year's resolution based on covering a different type of genre of film, like what would you pick to like, start doing like films with? Like, what's another genre you would love to start doing like in 2019 if you were to pick any?
Any genre, and it can't be horror, right?
Can't be horror.
Okay. So I've done a lot of different genres already, but the one I would love to do an action movie.
Oh, nice.
I'm a huge, like, I grew up on Charles Bronson, like Death Wish
The
movies,
legend.
and
The legend.
Schwarzenegger and Stallone, and like my best friend Mark, he's huge into martial arts and all that stuff. So like anytime like a new movie comes out, like he's got to tell me that it's got great fights, like The Raid, or the Raid movies the fights in that are insanely good. But I would love to, like, I would love to shoot a 10-minute one-take fight scene. That's what I would love to
Oh
do.
my
nice.
god!
That's
Like,
very
yeah,
interesting.
that would be definitely like interesting, especially because Daredevil did that staircase scene in season 1. That was all one take, I think.
Oh, I know, and it was so good. It was
And then-
so good.
And then that, I don't want to spoil it, but there's that one scene in season 3 that's one full take too. I don't want to spoil it, so like.
Oh no, I caught up on season 3 right before they canceled it. But yeah, no, that's what I loved about Daredevil series was those fight sequences. And to me, like I honestly, I really do think that stunt need more respect, and they need to get more recognized, because the stunt the stunt performers that are in these films risk their lives with half of these stunts that are like dangerous beyond belief. And when to do a fight sequence like that, like I've done smaller fight sequences in some of my films. I always write in fight sequences.
Sure.
But like, it's one of those things that like when you see a good fight, and especially if it's all one take, you're like, damn, these guys had to be on their game, you know? I mean, look, Tom Cruise, say what you will about him, but that man, did you see the newest Mission Impossible?
That's a man's man right there.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen all the other ones.
The newest one, without killing anything, Tom Cruise minus like, I think, 2 shots is doing every single stunt in that film.
Oh, wow.
Himself.
Yeah, he does a lot of that. He does a lot of that stuff on his own because he's freaking crazy.
He's crazy. He's absolutely crazy. And it's like, I think the only reason why he gets away with it in those films is because he's one of the main producers of those films. Because no producer is going to say, yes, Mr. Cruise, you can jump out of an airplane or attach yourself and let yourself free fall. So like, I mean, there was a one shot in that of him free falling from the sky. I'm like, Jesus! Like Simon Pegg said, and I love Simon Pegg. Simon Pegg said that he got such bad anxiety every morning going to set because he said he was expecting a phone call saying, "Hey guys, something went wrong. Tom had an accident. We got to cancel shooting for the day." And like that's like, wow, man, like massive respect. But stunt performers deserve so much more recognition for what they do. They really, really do.
That's what I've been saying. Like, because they just, like you said, they risk their lives, but you got to be in peak, peak physical attribute just in order to like either do that stuff, some of that stuff.
Totally.
I wonder if they have maybe an awards category for it already for like stunt performers and stuff like that.
I don't think the Oscars
I don't know.
do.
You don't think the
For
Oscars?
the Oscars,
Gotcha.
the Oscars created a popular vote category or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I was like, I was very vocal about how I was very upset about that. Because I was like, you're going to do a popular vote category on the Oscars, and you're not going to do one for stunts? Like, because this is the other thing, too. Unlike all the other categories in terms of, like, acting and all that stuff, the stunt performers do these stunts as somebody else. You know, like, unless you're...
I would never think of that. I would never think of it that way, too. Yeah. That's a very good point you made.
Kane Hodder. Look at Kane Hodder. People know Kane Hodder as Jason Voorhees because he wore a mask. But but people don't know Kane Hodder by his face.
Right.
I mean, horror fans do, but like, do you know what I'm saying? It's like these stunt guys, they do so much greatness with all these films, and they just hardly ever get the credit for them.
No, yeah, definitely. They really don't.
Now, kind of to wrap things up a little bit, I wanted to just hear more about potential future projects that you're working on for next year.
So I'm finishing up a feature called Nick and Nicky, which is a modern day screwball comedy, and it's in a murder mystery inspired by The Thin Man. We've been shooting it for 5 years.
Oh man!
Oh my God!
You could write a book on that.
Yes. Definitely could write a book on it, but we're shooting the last 2 days, the final 2 scenes in it on January 3rd and 4th. So that's going to be done. We've already got a rough cut of the film, and it's basically a Clue meets the Birdcage.
Oh my God!
That's something.
That's something.
Yeah, and it's been a wacky film. You know what I mean? It's been a crazy 5 years with it. But we're really looking forward to getting that out there. I've also been working on a TV show, a pilot that we shot last year called The Beautiful Distraction, which is in negotiations with distributors right now, and we shot that last year, and we're going to shoot some more stuff coming up. I've got a bunch of projects. I've got another project that I'm meeting with a couple of people this weekend about. We're looking to boot up a short that I did called Janice and the Golden Fleece, which was a 3-minute short that won Audience Choice for this bar called Sparrow that did a Sparrow film project every year. And we want to do the next 4 episodes, and it's like Mel Brooks type of humor, so it's very over the top, and it's very slapstick type of thing. And the first episode people have loved, and they've been wanting more since 2016, so we're finally going to be able to do that. I'm also looking to turn Last Call. So Last Call is a short, and I've written the full feature script and just cutting it down a little bit, tightening it up, and looking to turn it into a full feature, once again starring Terry Alexander. Then there's a couple of other secret projects that are in the works that I can't talk too much about, but I can tell you horror fans will love. Once I can announce this particular one, I know a lot of horror fans are going to go nuts for. So hopefully that's going to be done soon, and then I know I'm leaving something out, but I'm probably going to call after.
Maybe best yet to have it be a secret.
Exactly.
Sometimes the best things come by surprise.
Exactly, you know, and it's, you know, I mean, in this industry, you're always just trying to do the best that you humanly can with every project that you do, and I've been very fortunate to work with some great people, you know, and, you know, on all these different projects, and, you know, I mean, getting a call to, oh, hey, you know, you're going to be working with, you know, this person who you watched growing up, and I'm like, wow, like, I feel honored, and every day I kind of pinch myself being like, oh, wow, I can't believe this is really happening, but, you know, it's great.
Definitely is, and I'm glad that you're living the dream right now. It seems like you're definitely on your way for more prosperity and to make things happen for yourself and the people around you, so much props to you on that.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Of course, I just wanted to thank you again for coming on the podcast. We truly appreciate your time today.
Oh, thank you for having me. It truly is an honor, and I really do appreciate it, you know. This was a lot of fun.
Oh, it was great talking to you. I learned a lot of stuff and a lot of common stuff we have in common, if that makes sense, I guess. Yeah.
I guess we had 2 things in common from that sense.
We'll definitely have to sit down someday and actually and discuss our love for Evil Dead.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely just hours and hours of just the intricacies of just the different shots and all the blood and everything. Yeah.
I'm honored to.
Oh my God, I could do an entire podcast just on that. Like, I mean.
Christian, I think you've made yourself more opportunities after this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You let me know, I'm there. I will totally yak your ear off about Evil Dead and tell you my Bruce Campbell stories.
Oh, nice.
To be continued on that endeavor. Thank you so much again, Marcus.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
So you're a podcast listener. That's awesome. Did you know that you can enjoy an even better listening experience with the new Pocket Cast app? With powerful search and discovery tools, they've made it easier than ever before to find your next favorite podcast. It was even recognized by Wired Magazine as the podcast app for every iPhone user's needs. Pocket Cast is beautifully designed, easy to use, and offers an amazing features like play without subscribing and advanced episode search. Pocket Cast helps you quickly discover and enjoy your favorite podcasts with more than 500,000 shows to choose from. Change can be hard, but sometimes it's worth it. Download Pocket Casts today from the App Store or Google Play Store or on the web at pocketcast.com. You'll be glad you did.
And there you have it for episode 19 with Marcus Slabine. Christian, how are you feeling?
I feel like I could still talk about Evil Dead and not get tired.
Can I really blame you, though? Even for me, I've barely watched Evil Dead once in my life, and I feel like I could talk about it now. I have a history lesson between you two.
Oh, yeah, you got to watch Evil Dead 2. Army of Dark. Oh, you know what? Army of Darkness is your kind of movie, Jerry.
Can we do like a movie review of it?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like we'll have a double feature. We'll have Army of Darkness and we'll have Welcome to Moose Point, Jerry.
Oh, back to back. It's
Back
gonna
to
be
back.
probably gonna be the same plot at the end of the day.
Oh
no matter
yeah,
what.
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be hilarious.
I saw
Oh,
all
my
the
God.
sarcasm in that tone right there,
You
mister.
just saw me. Jerry literally saw me roll my eyes to the point that I think I need new eyes. That's how much I rolled them.
So that means your glasses really can take over for you.
Oh yeah, that's definitely gonna happen. I'm trying to think. I was gonna say something else, and I totally forgot. Oh yeah, so some more programming updates.
Oh.
Next couple of weeks, hopefully, I'm not too sure. I'm talking to John Gregorio, who was on the podcast for the E3 review, and a couple other people about doing a stream on YouTube of us playing Smash Bros. Super
We're doing
Smash
that
Bros.
here, right? If we do it?
We're gonna do it at John's.
Oh, we're gonna do it
So
at
we're
John's.
done. He's got the
Gotcha.
big STV. He's got the good streaming. We could stream it on the Caputo Collective YouTube channel, which everybody keep your eye out for that. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be like I think he said like a 32-man tournament or something, or a 16-person tournament or something.
And not to spoil Kenny's episode, but I truly hope we play Mario Party in the run too.
Oh yeah, so we can definitely if we stream it and you have your stupid dumb luck again about winning, that would be definitely the best episode of collective gaming.
Christian, that plot alone is the reason why heroes' journeys in film exist.
Oh yeah, well, of course. But collective gaming, of course, begins again January 2nd. It's going to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Each episode is going to drop Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. The first game we're going to be playing is Shadows of the Empire. The second is Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. And the third is going to be Donkey Kong 64, which is going to take us all the way to May. So I have 6 months worth of content that I'm working on, or 5 months worth of content that I'm working on right now, painstakingly working on right now.
You are too much of a savage with your video game.
Yeah.
I'm speechless with how much content you've planned in 6 months.
Plus, as always, the podcast, when we're not going anywhere.
We're going to be stronger than ever.
I forgot to mention in the opening, for anybody that's asking, was wondering, why don't you see our lovely faces? Is because when we have people in studio, it's going to be video. When we're taking phone calls, doing interviews, phone calls, it's going to be audio. Makes no sense staring at us for an hour if we're talking to somebody. Just
Unless you want me to stare at Christian, because he's got a set of eyes that I hope he loses from earlier in this interview.
Oh my god. But yeah, so just keep your eyes open for everything on our social media platforms such as Twitter. You can find us at Caputo Collective, Facebook Caputo Collective Productions. Find the podcast where you can find all of our episodes, just updates and everything at Collective Podcast on Facebook. YouTube, it's Caputo Productions or Caputo Collective, where you find all the archives of the podcast, all the archives of collective gaming, some short films that we put up, vlogs from the Hillsborough shoot, some Jerry hilarity.
Jerry hilarity.
Just some Jerry hilarity.
I never thought I'd hear those two things in a sentence.
some hilarious Jerry skits, and just behind the scenes stuff that we love to produce for you guys. Jerry, you have anything to plug?
Guys, all I have to say is thank you so much for your support. We truly appreciate everybody who's been listening. I feel like we're really starting to like make our reach happen for more and more people to listen to. So I'm humbled by all of you who are willing to keep listening to us.
Also find us on Anchor.
Yes.
Anchor.fm, where you'll be helping us make that money.
Money.
To keep the lights on, keep the podcast going on Anchor, Spotify.
While my apartment lights on.
Yeah. Apple, that you don't even pay for. Apple,
oh,
do not the gauntlet. Apple Podcast, Stitcher, yeah, all those great places. Also on Jerry. Jerry has officially broke. He's on the floor. He's laughing. He's trying not to make a noise. Jerry's face is red. I think he needs help. But
we've had a total tap out right now.
yes, Jerry's tapping. So before I rant again, just like every episode. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Sorry, Joe, we don't have enough time for you. You'll be on the next podcast, maybe.
By tomorrow.
Can't go a podcast without mentioning it. All right, guys, we'll see you next time on the Collective Podcast.
Collective Podcast.